Hey everyone, this is Matt from the Archive of Everything, and after a 1 week hiatus, I'm back with another TierMaker video. The last one got such a great reception, I thought I'd do it again. Now, before I do this, I just want to encourage you to subscribe, like the video, and comment what you think of this style of video if you like it, or if you want me to stick with mainly the history videos. I do appreciate the feedback. And also comment what you think as I rank these logos. So without further ado, let's get started. So to start off with, I really want to pick one that's been newer, redesigned, has a nice color scheme and whatnot, but I think could do with some improvement is the Carolina Panthers. I think it's a solid logo, but I wish it had maybe more history behind it to maybe bump it up into the A category. But compared to some of the other, I'll say, big cat logos, looking at you, Jacksonville, I think it looks really good because it mainly doesn't have all the colors and whatnot, and maybe some of the more cartoonish look that the Jacksonville logo has, which I will then move into the C category. So again, in case you've never seen one of these TierMaker videos, I know I already started, but S is the best and D is the worst, and then everything else is here in between. To me, it really means excellent, very good, good, needs improvement, and then needs significant improvement. That's really how I'm just going to base these off of. And in case, because of that, I'm going to say something like the Dallas Cowboys iconic star logo is an A. It's just an incredibly good logo, very iconic. Although I think it does leave maybe a little more when you look at it on the helmet and whatnot. You always know what this is, but I think some of the other ones are a little more creative. Like, for example, the Buffalo Bills logo, which I'm going to rank as an S tier. There's just something about this logo that I love. It's a charging buffalo. He has this red stripe, this kind of motion stripe just piercing out of his horn there. And you see this just lunging forward. The Bills are one of the best teams in the NFL right now. A lot of fun to watch. And to me, it's just one of my favorites. So I'll keep it there. Something like the Washington football team logo. I know this logo is meant to be temporary. When I look at it, I just think it's a college logo or something. I think there's something they could have done. I'm glad they got rid of the old logo, but I do think that just this W, I don't really know, to be honest, maybe Washington University or something like that. Another logo I think is pretty good, but I think needs some improvement is the Bengals logo. I think the stripes are good. You really do know. You see this B, you know Bengals, tiger stripes and whatnot. But I wish their primary logo was a Bengal tiger instead of just the B. I think it's a missed opportunity not to have another big cat logo similar to the Panthers and Jags. But again, a pretty solid logo. But I think it does leave a little bit to be desired, but I will put it under the B category. C category, I'm going to put the Chicago Bears. I think it's a very historic logo, but I'm just not a fan. I think it's another missed opportunity. I know they have the alternate logo where they have a bear kind of yelling and roaring and whatnot, but this is the main Chicago Bears logo, so that is the one I will be judging. But if the other Chicago Bears logo, that's the bear growling, I would say this would probably be a B or an A just in terms of historical accuracy. Or historical legacy, moreover. I'll do the same thing with the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to rank it as a B. I don't think it's quite an A or an S tier. I think it is very iconic, maybe almost as iconic as the Cowboys logo, but I think it does leave a little bit to be desired. It is just a G for Green Bay. One thing you may notice is I'm not really a fan of when it's just the city's initials. I like it more when there's some sort of symbolism with it. Say something like the, I don't know, Miami Dolphins or something like that. You know, it's literally a dolphin. It doesn't get quite as literal as that. You know, they don't have an M for Miami or something like that. Or even something like the Tennessee Titans logo. I think this is an excellent logo. I think it's iconic. It is a newer logo in the past, I guess, 25 years or so. But, you know, you see the T for Titans. It's very a fun color scheme using some of those old Houston Oilers colors that they then became the Tennessee Oilers. And just that flaming T on their new dark blue helmet. I think navy blue helmet. I think it just really pops, looks really nice. LA logo, I'm going to rank that as a C. I can kind of see what they're going for. You can see the horn and then the LA, so I do give it a bump up for creativity, but this did get some negative reception. I liked it better when their logo was the ram's head. I wish they had kept that. They do have an alternate version of the ram's head, but again, this is their primary logo, and I think it leaves a little bit to be desired. Although I do love the color scheme here. It kind of reminds me of Michigan, this kind of fiery yellowy, a little bit orange there, and then this nice blue color. Really nice, but I do wish it was the old logo. I think they took a step back with that. D, I'm going to put the New York Giants. It just says New York. Which New York team is it? Again, I do, as an NFL fan, know that this is the Giants logo, but I think it leaves a little bit to be desired. I wish it said Giants on their helmet. When it was just the script, it said Giants and then the line running under it. I think personally that's better than just the lowercase New York. I have a feeling they may try to update this in the next couple years. It's not quite classic, not quite much of anything, to be honest. I'm just not a fan. Oakland Raiders logo, I'm rating that. It's really hard to put that between an A and an S tier. I'll put it as an A tier. I'll reserve that S tier for what I think is the cream of the crop. But the Raiders logo is probably one of the most iconic in NFL history. You see that, you immediately think of those passionate fans, those just really just mean teams in just all the best ways. I think it's very iconic in that silver and black. When you say the silver and black, you instantly think of the Oakland Raiders, and there's a really good reason for that. Part of it could be due to this iconic logo. Minnesota Vikings, I'm going to go ahead and put that as, honestly, an S tier. I think it doesn't get quite as literal as that. It's a Vikings, the helmet does a good job. The actual football helmets have the horns in them. But then this logo does a great job. It's an old Norse man. He's got the braided hair, the long mustache. Maybe a little stereotypical, but I think it's still really awesome. A very classic logo. But they did update it a little bit to clean it up a couple years ago. But I think they kept the really good aesthetic of it. And I think the yellow detailing and then just the purple stripe is a really great combination. So to me, that is an S tier. We may move that down depending on what I think of these other logos, but other than that, it's going to sit there for now. Some other C tier logos, or actually let's go with another D tier logo. I'm going to say the New York Jets. I don't like logos that have footballs on them. It's just another one of my pet peeves. I wish they, instead of a football, maybe they put a jet. Maybe a little too much of a reach. I think it's a missed opportunity. Even if they put some sort of aerodynamic symbol, maybe it says Jets and then it was some sort of swoosh or something like that. Maybe an airplane's tail fin or something. I think that would look a little better than this. It's just kind of generic. Not a fan. So the New York logos and Washington definitely need to step up their game, along with the Cleveland Browns. I like the Browns' alternate logo with the bulldog. I think the Go Dogs mentality and just the way that the team has stepped up in the past couple years is really awesome. But just the logo being an orange football helmet, I'm not a fan of. So I'm just going to put it down there. The Browns, their primary color is orange. I honestly think a brown helmet would look pretty awesome with maybe an orange stripe. Maybe they'll do that next year when that new NFL helmet rule changes. San Francisco 49ers, I consider that on the same tier as the LA Rams. Again, it's an extremely historic logo, but other than that, again, I'm just not a fan of those interlocking SF. It's just the city name and not much more to that. If they put maybe 2 Miners picks or something to represent the, California Gold Rush Miners, I would think that would be kind of neat, but other than that, just not really a fan. Atlanta Falcons, I give it points for creativity. The Falcon is in the shape of an F, in case you never knew that for Falcons. So you can see the top of the F and the middle of the F is the claw coming out, maybe to grab the football or something like that. So again, just a really nice classic logo. They changed it in the early 2000s from just the black and white to the black, white, and red. as they redid the uniforms. I'm glad this logo stuck around, and I think it will be around for some time into the future. Indianapolis Colts, I think that's a B tier logo. You see that horseshoe logo, you instantly know what it is. Not really anything, I would improve about it. I think that blue and white is just very clean, very nice looking. And a B tier logo, it's not maybe quite as iconic as something like the Cowboys star, but I do appreciate it nonetheless. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm going to go ahead and put, you could see I was kind of debating whether or not, I'm going to go ahead and put it as a B tier. I knock it off because it does have a football on there. I think they could get rid of the football and it would look great. I think this logo on top of the pewter helmets just looks amazing. Nothing really bad to say about it. You see that, it's either Pirates or Buccaneers or something like that. Kind of transcends the sport, and I really do think it's a very clean, nice logo. C tier, we're going to put the Arizona Cardinals. Again, nothing really wrong with it. They did redesign it in the past couple, maybe decades at this point, to give it a little more aggressive of a look. But other than that, it just leaves a little bit more to be desired. I wish they could do something, maybe if it had wings or something like that. Maybe do something with the eagle style on the helmet, a little more emphasis on that red color instead of an all-white helmet. But other than that, pretty solid logo. C tier, not bad, but could be better. Another C tier logo we're going to move into that category is the Miami Dolphins logo. I like the old Dolphins logo a little bit better. I think this one kind of pops with that teal and the sunburst. I think they're going for a cleaner look, but to me this logo looks more like it is modern, but it's almost too modern for a team. The Miami Dolphins from the 70s are some of, maybe the best, the only undefeated team to win the Super Bowl in NFL history. And I wish they brought that old logo back to maybe kind of recapitalize on that old prestige. Baltimore Ravens logo, I think that black and purple with the red eye and just that B kind of swooshing forward is a really nice, see, this is the way, instead of LA or just a C, this is a nice way to incorporate the B for Baltimore while still having a, other part to your logo, similar to the Kansas City Chiefs, which I'll also put into the B. I think these logos are pretty similar. You have the symbol that represents the team, the arrowhead for the Chiefs, the Ravens head for the Ravens, and they do a nice job of incorporating the lettering and whatnot into that. Similar even to this Bengals logo, it's the beef. It's not just an orange bee. They have the tiger stripe, so it is the Bengal Tigers and whatnot. Denver Broncos logo, I think it's a, charging stallion. You can see kind of the swooshing for the speed effect and whatnot. I think it's a classic logo. Looks really nice. Not a whole lot to say about it other than it's, just a very clean logo with that blue, white, and orange. A nice color combination. And with that, I think it deserves a high spot on this list. Chargers, I'm putting as the other S tier. That may come as a surprise, but I think the new logo with that more powder blue and that yellow just really pops. I think it's just short, sweet, to the point. I think, it's the Bolts, the Chargers. It describes the team perfectly. And just because of those reasons, it's one of my favorite in the NFL. And I'll just do the other one I was thinking for an S tier is the Seattle Seahawks. I think the colors, that neon green for the eye is just so subtle. But then you have that kind of slate gray and navy blue. Just that color combination is absolutely gorgeous. The entire uniforms are just awesome. Great job on Nike on redesigning those. And because of that, it earns an S distinction. Maybe not the most classic logo of all time compared to something like, maybe the Bills or something like that. But it's so modern, so clean, so nice. It's the way all NFL logo redesigns should be. Pittsburgh Steelers, based off of the U.S. Steel logo. A tier, iconic. It represents the city really well, the city of Pittsburgh, all the steel mills and whatnot that are there. It's also unique because it's only on one side of that helmet. I think you can't really go wrong with that. You know exactly what team it is. Even if they got rid of the Steelers word mark, then you would know that this represents either U.S. Steel or the Pittsburgh Steelers. C tier, I didn't mean to put that in the D tier. C tier, we're going to put the Houston Texans. I think it's maybe a little too cartoony. I wish it was maybe a little more symmetrical, but you definitely know what team it is. It has the Texas flag in it and the Longhorn. So again, kind of nice, red, white, and blue. Represents the city, but I wish it was maybe a little less cartoony looking, a little more cleaned up and simple. Another iconic NFL logo is the New Orleans Saints logo. I think this logo is iconic. It's iconic outside of the NFL as well, the fleur-de-lis. But you know, when it's painted in this gold and black, you just think of, Drew Brees throwing for 5,000 yards. Iconic logo, very resilient after Hurricane Katrina, really became a symbol. And because of that, it's going to be ranked as an A tier. Philadelphia Eagles, I am going to rank it a little lower. I would say it's a B. Actually, I think that's a B. I can't, when I think about it on the same level as something like the Cardinals, Jags, it's a B tier. Really solid middle of the pack logo. It's a screeching eagle. You'll notice it's also one of the only NFL logos to face left instead of right. You see like the Jaguars facing right, Panthers facing right. Everyone's facing right but the Eagles. Makes them stand out a bit. Really nice, fierce logo. Nice color scheme. I kind of like the old Kelly green a little better, but midnight green will have to do. Detroit Lions, we're also going to put that as a B tier. I think it's a very clean logo. It's, a lion kind of lunging at its prey. Maybe he's diving in for the touchdown or something. I kind of like how it's kind of a minimalistic, and there's also no such thing as a blue lion, but I think this has a way of really just making it pop. So because of that, it's going to be a B tier. One of my maybe not quite favorite, but a very respected logo I have in the NFL. And then finally, we're going to say the New England Patriots are an A tier. Not quite an S tier, but I think you see that logo, and I think because of the sustained success that this team has had over the past 20 years, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, Gronk, everyone you see out there, I think it's becoming legendary, and I think they will never get rid of this logo because we saw a dynasty over the past 15, 20 years, and this logo has come to represent that more than anything else besides maybe Brady and Belichick. And because of that, it gets an A tier for that notoriety alone. So this is the NFL logos ranked. I am very curious to see what you all will think of this. I'd love for you to make your own. I'll put the description or the link to this in the description below. I'm glad to be back after that week hiatus. All I can really say is thanks for watching. As always, this is Matt from the Archive of Everything, and I'll see you all real soon.